Well, in the immediately preceding part of this talk, I dealt with the first approach, which is what one might call circumstantial evidence for the relation between hand and arm movements and the meaning of words in which particular speech sounds appear. The second approach is to say something more about the way in which the arm movements and positions associated on the system I've explained with particular speech sounds, how these movements and positions combine together in parallel with a combination together of the associated speech sounds. Now, there's one preliminary point I should make. I've already said in relation to sounds and movements in the lateral group and in the circular group that the movement or position associated with each sound varies depending on whether the sound is an initial sound in a syllable or a final sound. For example, where S is initial, the associated movement is to the left, and when S is at the end of a syllable, the associated movement is in the opposite direction. So the movement is reflected if the sound occurs at the end of a syllable. A reflected form of the movement one gets if the sound is at the beginning of the syllable. The same was true of the sounds and movements in the circular group, that's L, M, N, R. I said there that if one of these sounds is initial in a syllable, the movement is anti-clockwise. If it's final in a syllable, it's the opposite direction, clockwise, rotation. The same is true of sounds and movements in another of the groups, that is the main consonantal line or group. I demonstrated the position associated with the initial sound b, b, as b, that. If b is not an initial sound, but is the final sound in a syllable, then the movement is reflected outwards. So for b you have that, and for b you have that. The position there is a reflected form. In fact, the forearm is rotated outwards. That's the first point to make, and it's an important one in considering how the movements associated with particular speech sounds are combined together in parallel with the combination of the speech sounds themselves into the form of a word. The second point to make is that when, with a particular initial speech sound, such as b, b, one combines a selection of vowels from the vocalic line, then you get a progressive modification of the B position, a sort of melding together of the movements or the position associated with B and the position associated with the vowel sound. So, for example, if you start off with the letter B-A and then proceed through the vowels B-E, B-I, B-O, B-U, one gets ba, be, bi, bo, ba. One gets a graded series of positions which moves in parallel with the systematic change of position associated with the vowels taken by themselves. A, E, I, O, A. So as I say, you get ba, be, bi, bo, ba. Similarly, of course, if you have another initial consonant, C or D, ka, starts off a bit higher than ba, ba, ka, ke, ki, ka, ka, like that. The same applies when combination is between a speech sound taken from the projective group and a vowel, though the modification is less noticeable here than in the case of the combination of a speech sound from the main consonantal line and a vowel. If one takes the initial movement and position, say for T, and one can pronounce it with the schwa sound, what one might describe as an obliterated vowel. So if you say t, 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 that is the one might take as one starting point. And then if you combine the T sound with a range of vowels, one gets ta, te, ti, to, ta. Ta, te, ti, to, ta. Somewhat similar to the combination of B with the vowels, but it starts off from the movement and position associated with T and grades then along as one alters the vowel.